Hello everyone and welcome once again to your favorite program, To The Point, right here on KTV2. Tonight we are going to focus on economics. Many of us come up with innovation ideas that could be, might be the best next thing and the best idea in the world. It is not easy to take those first steps through. Starting a business is always a bittersweet experience. The idea required long hours of hard work at the beginning, but turned out to be the biggest achievement. Commercial laws in the state of Kuwait have taken a major leap in the past 2 years and will continue to change now that we are going through some difficult economic reforms. I have received plenty of questions asking about how to start a business in the state of Kuwait, and I thought that I would answer the basic questions right here. Though we have this episode hosting some of the brave Kuwaiti that were able to do it. Now we have a small report about vision for a new Kuwait. Enjoy.
The future of Kuwait starts with a vision. The vision will turn into reality with 5 strategic plans. The future is to work together in order to change in our country, to depend less on the public sector and oil production. We need to be more dependent on the private sector. The focus will be on 7 different fields: management of public authorities, economic growth, construction development, good living environment, best healthcare, innovative and creative thinkers, special national places. Those are the 7 fields that reflect on 29 creative projects. To accomplish our vision, we required shared responsibilities, need leadership, honesty, shared assets, dedication, organization, in order to get the results needed and to gain the community's trust. And building a new Kuwait for everyone to enjoy. Together, we can build the future. New Kuwait begins with you.
Giving me his card. Good evening everyone and welcome back. We are still here at KTV2 with the program To The Point, and we are still talking about how to begin or establish something in economics and in commercial stuff. That's why we have Mr. Ambassador to Guyana. He is a Professor Dr. SHAMIR Ali, and for those of you who do not know where is Guyana, it's right next to Brazil in South America. And also the well-known Dr. MUSTAFA BEHBEHANI, President of Kuwaiti-Peru Friendship Group and Chairman of Kuwaiti Gulf Group for Administration and Economic Consulting. Good evening for both of you and thank you so much for being with us.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. You speak Arabic, that's wonderful.
A few words. Yes.
That's wonderful. Better than nothing, how about that?
Yes.
Mr. Ambassador, if you allow me, I would love to start with you. Establishing a friendship with Kuwait regarding improving the economics and the relationship with each other. How do you evaluate it, and do you think that you have reached the climax of the friendship or not?
Yes, Guyana is new in Kuwait. We have had an embassy here since 2010, but the last 3 years we did not have an ambassador. I'm the newly accredited ambassador. I am from the business world, over 60 plus years in the business world. plus education. Businesses are the key drivers for economic development of countries and nations. And there is strong possibility for it from Kuwait, the 6th richest country in the world.
6?
Number 6. It was 6 according to the latest report I read 2 days ago.
The sixth country, the richest country in the world.
In El Mundo, yes.
Dr. Mustafa, do we have enough money? You and I?
Yes, it will come,
we
inshallah.
We have reserve.
Now we're talking about individually. Do we have enough money or you and I?
Well, we have the biggest fund. You know, we started the fund before even the developer. We still have that, and it's well managed.
That's wonderful. Let's talk about you and your Diwania, the economic Diwania. What's it about?
Well, we had formed a friendship group with different countries, you know. We're very grateful for them helping us liberate Kuwait. That's
our allies back in the 90s.
Right.
Okay.
And then we started this group, friendship group, and then we have members from both sides, and they like the Diwania atmosphere. So
who doesn't love Diwania? Mr. Ambassador, do you know anything about Diwania itself?
I have learned. I thought I knew a lot by knowing the Majlis in Qatar, but Diwania is another world, and it's a happy world.
It's just like the Hyde Park, but in the state of Kuwait. Hyde Park, that was in London. It's a huge park. Everybody can say anything they want, whatever their heart desires. And also in our Diwania, we can say anything.
Yes, and it's
not insulting anybody, but express our feelings.
But and the environment is nicer.
That's wonderful.
Nicer environment.
And not to mention the free food.
Well, I said environment. It covers it all.
Yeah, but actually, there is no country has Diwania like Kuwait. No country.
I know that.
No, even the London.
Everybody envious. I know that. Mr. Ambassador, any friendship, no matter how big or small, it has to be some obstacles preventing it from progressing. So do you have any obstacles regarding the friendship with the state of Kuwait people?
I do not see it. What I do see is bridging people-to-people exchanges.
That's wonderful.
Miscommunication, and I've told that to the mayor at the Ilod Manas, people-to-people exchanges is what will bridge that gap. The Western world has no clue. Nobody prepared me for my 73 country in Kuwait. Since August the 30th, I'm learning a new world and a happy world, and we're communicating that to my global friends. Very few people are believing what I says, and they kind of says because I'm Muslim background, I'm covering for my Muslim brothers. When my American wife says the same thing, they believe her.
Oh,
and she sends the email under her name, and that is how we
that explains your name is Shamir Ali.
Yes.
That explains it.
Allahu Akbar.
And now, Guyana, it's a small country by the size, but it has a big heart from the inside.
Yes.
Now, are you trying to inform the whole world that we are here and we represent the power of economic reforms and stuff like that?
That is part of it, but Sheikh Nazir, His Excellency, took the gamble on us in 2010 when he visited Guyana on his Latin American tour. Sheikh Nasser. And since then, we have had an embassy established in West Mishrif. So he is the visionary that encouraged us to be here, so we cannot be ungrateful. We are very, very grateful, and part of my trust will be to cement the relationship. Guyana has been a British colony. We secured our independence on May 26, 1966. So we're now on our 51st year of independence. We have resources unimaginable in the ground. And we've just, Exxon and Hess just found oil, and in 3 years production will be about...
That's wonderful. We will get to that, but I would love to, from Mr. BEHBEHANI, to tell us that the state of Kuwait and everybody else are going through an economic reform. That does not mean that they are failing or probably succeeding, but it has to be some reforms. Now the oil prices are kind of down, probably 2/3. It used to be, what, 110, now it's about around $50 per barrel, correct? Now, if you want everybody to buy the reforms and also to establish new business ventures, what exactly the advisement that you would love to give it to the public?
I think we were leaders in that field, and I did my dissertation on the GCC, economic.
Very impressive. I got a shock today to see it.
I know.
And one of the things is of having business, doing business. So we have to have less bureaucracy and give a chance to the younger people. We have made conferences on the small business.
Is it working?
With the difficulty, they are really starting, but I say it's not very easy. It will take time. One of also the positive aspect that a woman is also entering this field. So we have the mega fund, and they're giving a lot of advantages. It will take time. Maybe in the next 5 years you will see the results.
That's wonderful. What about you, Mr. Ambassador? He raised up a good point that reform, it takes time to take place, and people will adjust to that. What about you in your own country? Do you have the same thing, the same dilemma that you have to impose some kind of reforms able to, prolong your country?
Yes, change is always resisted by human beings globally, whether you're rich or poor. It's for the smart, strategic leaders to institute the changes in stages, a little bit at a time. And many times, smart leaders miss the communication angle. You have to prepare your citizens, you have to prepare your group to accept the change. You have to have the dialogue, the communication, listen to them, modify if needed, and then they will buy in themselves, and then the change becomes their change. People have a tendency, if it's somebody else's change, they resist, but if it's from them, with their participation, even just listening, even just asking one question, they buy in. Yes, Guyana is a third world country with all the resources in the ground and not enough for everyone. Unemployment is always a headache.
You mentioned about a big, huge oil companies are, it's doing business with your government. Could you elaborate on that?
Exxon Oil has found oil offshore along with Hess. And we are told the Hess Oil, and they are part of the American group, and production is on stream in 2020, early 2020. They said it's a huge, massive find. 17 drills and wells will be, and it's about 200 to 300,000 barrels of light crude oil per day is the minimum expected.
That's wonderful, yeah.
And they figure they have a 20-year supply. And I'm hoping to share some of that information on the group when we meet on Tuesday with Exxon.
That leads us to the private sector, Mr. BEHBEHANI. It has to be a big role for the private sector to rise up with the occasion and try to implement all the reforms that the government are trying to sell it to the public. What do you think?
Yes, the role of the government is very important. And he was mentioning the leader, our leader, Sheikh Sabah, the Amir, is pushing for that. He has a vision.
He has a huge vision for
but
Kuwait to become the capital of economics.
Right. So you have three parties have to coordinate. One is the government, the parliament, and the private sector. I said it's not easy, it takes time, but I think there is now the plan to do that. It's just to have to implement. We have now the bridges, hospitals, a lot of infrastructure is coming in the next 5 years.
Mr. Ambassador, when we talk about reforms, you have to have some kind of a sacrifice from here and there. So in your own point of view, what exactly the people, not your own people, all over the world, need to sacrifice? to absorb the reform?
Well, let me give you Guyana as a good example. We're faced with it right now. Because of the oil prices and the economic condition, our main products are gold, rice, and sugar. Gold is doing very well. Rice and sugar is not doing very well. So we've had to, for the first time in our 51 years history, tax education, when we know education is the key driver to transform the whole nation. But after the team has listened, if you do not start to do some measure of taxation now, everything is a freebie.
You mean you need to impose new taxes?
A new tax system, and they're going through the fights and the communication. The minister
you are going to have an opposition for that.
But we will succeed because we'll explain, if we do not set it right now, you cannot just have handouts forever. There is enough, there's limited resources for distribution, and everybody has to fear.
You mentioned something about your allies. Who are they?
Well, we have allies, the Western world. We're located in South America. We're very active in Latin America.
And you are democratic,
We are
right?
democratic from the British system. And because we're English speaking, we tend to gravitate more to the English kind of speakers, but our brothers and sisters are in Latin America, Portuguese and Spanish. And those are the British. We are not encouraged to study any languages other than English.
I know that. Dr. BEHBEHANI, he mentioned something about new taxation on the public, and the state of Kuwait are considering, not to mention that it's written in our constitution, taxation. It's there. But now, people are trying to deliver a message, not only in Kuwait, all over the world. If you want to tax me, I need good services, to give me good services. So what do you think?
Yes, we're fortunate we have the welfare system, you know, one of the fortunate countries, and to, as His Excellency the Ambassador, to change is very difficult. It will take time, but you have to do it gradually and to see also the benefit, because it affects also the currency.
The currency.
You know, one of the strongest currency in the world is the Kuwaiti dinar.
I know, it's tied up to gold, isn't it?
It's up many currencies, but because we have a reserve, even during the invasion, the currency stayed stable. A lot of countries, they lose their value.
Oh yeah,
and
easy.
So we have to keep, if we keep the currency strong, then we can get through these reforms. We should have some reforms, but gradual.
I know. You mentioned earlier that the Diwaniyah is going to contain most of the allies who helped liberate the state of Kuwait back in 1990 and 91. Who are they? Be more specific.
Well, now we're starting with Peru and Ghana, and then Latin America, because for us a new world, we're gonna identify this Diwaniyah with at the Arab Planning Institute, and then we're gonna have first the Latin American, the Arab countries together.
Right on there, we have a Latin Alliance, Mr. Ambassador, you can see it. This is most of your country right now, and you're part of it.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, could you tell us about it? What's it about? This is about economics?
This is about economics, quality of life, and brotherly and sisterly cooperation, and the bigger brothers in the Arab world helping the other brothers, because in that part of the world there are many Arabs, there are many Syrians, all nationalities are in all those countries. So it's all like extending the hand of friendship and the bond, rather than just being miles apart. And every year there's a summit by rotation. So that is very, very popular, and Guyana is an active participant.
What about for us individuals would love to visit Guyana? What about the visa?
Well, I'm the visa officer along with a member of the first secretary.
So it should be easy. You can issue a visa for me right now.
Kuwait, you just have to do the documentation, the rules and the regulation, but I promise you, there's no Kuwaiti should have any fear about visa. That should be later your concern. The big question, I understand, how long is the flight in South America? Well, via New York from Kuwait is 13 hours. The wind is good, 12. but from New York to Guyana straight is 5 hours.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I am hoping if I can generate enough traffic, enough interest, at least one flight a week from New York.
So right here
to
in
Guyana.
our program, we are promoting tourism.
Yes.
And
So
my you
wife-
have to have some factors like good weathers, and we know that the people
Sun and
are
rain.
wonderful in Guyana.
Sun and rain. Sun and rain. And we have in the Amazon 100 unique animals in the world. And some of this will be shared at the conference on Tuesday.
And you have
It's
the,
a hidden gem.
and the fruits and the
Fruits and the people and the love. We might not be rich, but we're a happy, comfortable people. And Miss Zaid Al-Rafai visited Guyana, country number 100, for 36 hours. And what he was able to do, he said he is going back for a longer period.
Oh.
So Guyana will be ready to receive every Kuwaiti, and it'll be tourism with a difference. And I'm actively working on that, and there'll be a newsletter for interested person, and it's all part of the people-to-people dialogue. I'm hoping personally to lead a tour in December.
In December?
Yes.
How's the weather in December? Warm?
Warm, sun and rain, Allah's blessings.
We
sun
love
and
cold
rain.
weather.
Sun
we
and rain.
want cold weather. What
Sun
about
and
you,
rain,
Dr.
no,
Sam?
Yeah,
sun
it's
and rain,
right,
South
right.
America.
we plan
and
We are
together.
sick and tired of humidity and hot and dust and stuff
No,
like that.
it's a
But
good
it's no
place
dust, it's a
to-
good, healthy weather.
I know. So if you spare with me a moment, I have Mr. Ahmed Al-Saleh on the air, and he is going to talk to us and also to intervene in our program. Good evening, Mr. Al-Saleh.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Thank
Good
you so
evening.
much for being with us. Mr. Al-Saleh, tell us about Maker Fair here in Kuwait and other countries. What exactly we're talking about?
Well, the Maker Fair is a huge celebration for the maker movement. People who have talents, who creative enough to build and make innovations and new things. So this fair actually is happening all around the world in around 80 countries all over the world. And alhamdulillah, we got it in Kuwait. It's the first Middle Eastern country to have the flagship of the Maker Fair. Actually, in 2004, the Maker Fair was done. 2014. The Maker Fair was in the White House, inside the White House, was organized inside the White House under the
White House
Obama,
back in Washington, D.C.
Exactly, exactly. Under Obama presidency. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And we got it in Kuwait in 2017 to show the whole world that we have a very talented and creative people in Kuwait. The project, when we started the project, we had to review around 300 applicants who applied to show their talents in the Maker Fair. And the people who got through, there were around 78 people only to show they're talented, either in the technology side or the art side or any other side, type of talent.
Yes,
So
Mr. Saleh, tell us about yourself. You have lots of patents here in the state of Kuwait, and you consider yourself that the best to nothing regarding the innovations that you have made to your own country. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, you want me to talk about myself first?
Yes, please.
Yeah, well, I'm an engineer. I graduated from the U.S. from California, and since my graduation, I worked as a maker movement pioneer. So in Kuwait here. So what our goal is to teach people how to build almost anything. So we go into the technology and we try to explain to people the secrets of technology and try to make it easy for them to understand it. All right. So we came up with a lot of educational systems. We came up with a lot of patents that involved in the technology itself.
That's wonderful. Let's go back to the Make Fair. And do you think that is going to improve the industry in the state of Kuwait?
Exactly. In most of the advanced countries, the small businesses and the medium businesses, are like considered the they call it the power of the whole the money power, because they are considered to be around 80% of the what they call it the الاقتصادي اللي هو the financial power of the countries. So here in Kuwait, we're trying to push entrepreneurship. We try to show people that don't be shy, you know, from your talent. Try to show it other and try to make a small business out of it.
The biggest enemies for the innovator in the world, not in Kuwait, it's bureaucracy. What about that? Are you going to eliminate the steps for the business to establish itself or not?
Exactly. That's what we're trying to push. We brought a lot of big investors. Like the main organizer of the Maker Fair was the KIC, Kuwait Investment Company. Okay, and also ALWASMI Bank, and also, you know, big investors, big money, you know, involved in this. They were seeking talented people with and small businesses to support them even further, and, you know, push them to become from a small business to a medium business, and then they might just you know, accelerate to become a large business. Or,
Mr. Saleh, if you bear with us, I have here two distinguished guests. We have the ambassador of Guyana and also Dr. MUSTAFA BEHBEHANI. He's a well-known economics and also entrepreneur and lots of that. They would love to reply to the stuff that you have mentioned. Mr. Ambassador, what do you think about what Mr. Saleh said?
He's on target.
He's on target.
Businesses generate wealth. You have a youthful population, male or female, it does not matter. Technology is the new world we'll be in, and all those are important factors. Government's job is to ease up the bureaucracy. Documentation is important, but it can be simplified with the use of technology. Guyana has done it. I'm the architect of the Go Invest website. You can sit on your iPhone and Starbucks and form a company any part of the world in Guyana with a user-friendly website, goinvest.com. The only thing, by virtue of the British law, you cannot pay the fees. That somebody has to pay the fees for the registration in person, or you can FedEx the envelope.
Mr. BEHBEHANI, what do you think?
Well, I think is best. Kuwait was doing that. You know, my uncle Murad, he started the radio station, TV station. So we have to keep this